My name is Heather Mahaley. I'm a program specialist working on Fair Housing Act compliance, along with Simone Wright, who many of you have talked to and interacted with. We also have John Porter and Anthony Scroy from CSI Technology Group, who we've been working with to develop the system and refine the system in the past year. Keith is sorry that he's unable to join us this morning, but he is here in spirit, especially since I stole his script for my intro. We have a lot of people signed up for the webinar this morning, which I'm sure means that we haven't done enough webinars, but I'm going to take to mean that everybody is eager to get in line with their monitoring and get more information about where things need to be entered and things like that. Some people also may be aware of pending legislation that prioritizes funding from EDA and DCA to towns that are up to date on their monitoring. So whatever the reason you're here, we're glad that you are. Our rules, the 599 DCA local planning services rules related to A4 legislation, are scheduled to be in the December 15th register, which we're very happy about. That's going to codify the requirement that monitoring is done in AHMS, and it'll also specify the information that is required. But as you'll see, there's a lot more space to put information in, not just the required stuff. And we encourage you to include as much information in the system as is possible, because it's your ability to track where you are, what's been built, and it is for your information as well as ours. A quick recap for those who are new to AHMS and monitoring in general. The AHMS system is a completely new system that CSI Technology Group has developed, but there was an old system called the CTM system, which we took that information to populate AHMS. So if you go into your town and you see that there's data in there, it was migrated over from the old system. In most cases, that will have stopped around 2015 when that obligation to monitor went away, when COA went away, but some people did continue to update, which was great, and they're in a better situation due to that. John is actually going to walk us through entry, how to get into the system, and then the different screens and levels that you see once you're there for both project unit and for trust fund. We've also made some changes throughout this year to streamline and make it more responsive and efficient and include the things that we need to include. And he's going to highlight those changes that we've made. And we're going to continue to make changes. We are constantly working to get more information, better screens, better help into the system. So CSI has been great in making it as good a system as possible. So the last deadline was February 15th of this year. We did get a decent response. We have 270 towns confirmed both their trust fund and their project unit monitoring. That was good. And after the deadline, Simone and we spent a lot of time trying to get towns and their trust funds reconciled, meaning that their balances in the system matched their bank statement balance. We're successful reconciling about 166 towns. I expect that we'll be doing a lot of that again after the February 15th deadline in 2026. Excuse me. But for those who did take the time to go through their accounts, work with us, work with your CFOs, make sure that all the information balances. We thank you for your efforts, and you're off to a good start. And to those who are still thousands of dollars off, we're happy to work with you to balance those things, because it is going to be important. As you hopefully know, you have 4 years after the collection of your trust funds to spend them. So it's important to make sure that we have a good accounting so that we can track that spending. Otherwise, it could be taken from the town and put into the state trust fund. So we just want to make sure that we have an accurate accounting. I'm going to hand it over to Simone to talk about an MHL update. But before I do that, I want to let you know that we are going to record this session. We're going to post that on our website as soon as we can. We're also going to take questions in the Q&A box. So please feel free to type in your questions there. We'll try and answer those as we go along. And we may also have some time at the end for questions if I can figure out how to unmute people. You can also always reach out to us at AHMS, AHMS at dca.nj.gov. I will put that into the chat as well. So you have that. That gets to both Simone and I. We are happy to help answer your questions, and do anything that we can to make this monitoring experience as enjoyable as possible. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Simone.
Good morning, everyone. I see some names and here that I've talked to before, and I just want to say thank you and welcome. I hope I haven't been a pest, but today I want to talk about MHLs, which are the mutual housing liaisons. We have approximately 564 municipalities. Out of that, we need to have the MHL resolution on file. And all municipalities with the affordable housing guidelines pursuant to this act must appoint a municipal housing liaison by resolution. The MHL will be responsible for the oversight coordination of all the affordable housing activities of the municipal government. Unfortunately, if we have 564, I do only have about 247 active resolutions in my file. So I've sent some emails out to everyone, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get more. Some people have promised that they were going to send them. They didn't have updated ones, whatever the case may be. But I understand that, and we do need to have these mutual housing, municipal housing liaisons on file. If you have any further questions or anything about that, please reach out to me. I'm here to help you as much as I can. I've tried to help people walk through the process before. And I do have a sample resolution, which I'm going to attach in the comments for anyone that might need it. The verbiage has changed slightly from what the old verbiage was, but I am going to attach that in the comments this morning so that you will be able to have that. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Simone. Yeah, we do anticipate, well, we would like to be able to communicate with MHLs directly. And we can only do that if we have all the MHLs. There are obligations in A4 for MHLs specifically. And so we need email addresses. We need a way to be able to communicate with towns. So it is very important that your town appoint an MHL and that we get the information that we need in order to make sure that you've followed the correct procedure, get your resolution and that kind of thing, to get that MHL into our system. So it would be very helpful if we had 440 of those, however many towns, 424, that as many as we can, to make sure that we can communicate with you all. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Porter with CSI Technology Group, and he's going to walk us through the system. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Heather. Please let me know when my screen is showing for everyone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. As Heather mentioned, my name is John Porter. I am with the CSI Technology Group. We're based right here in New Jersey in Edison Township in Middlesex County. With me today is my colleague, Anthony Scroy. Together, we worked with Heather, Simone, and Keith to design this system. For those of you that have attended previous sessions, there have been several enhancements made to the application since the last training session we hosted. I will touch on the significant ones as we go through this presentation. And for those of you that are maybe have not signed up yet or registered for an affordable housing monitoring system account, I just wanted to touch on that real quick. So what you're seeing on the screen currently, this is the URL or the web address for the affordable housing monitoring system. When you click on that, you are going to reach this site, which I refer to as the Affordable Housing Monitoring System portal account or portal site. So from here, if you don't already have an account, this is where you can go to register for one. In order to do that, all you have to do is click one of the two register for municipal service account buttons, either at the top of in this top blue banner or in the blue box here that explains what the monitoring system is for. And this will bring you to a new screen where at a minimum you have to complete the fields that are marked with the red asterisk. And it's real easy. It's just first name, last name, the county that you're registering for, as well as the municipality. From there, once you choose the county and municipality, these are the various user groups within the application that will provide you access to all the functions within the application. So depending on what either your future or current user groups assignments are, will dictate what functions you have access to throughout the application. And as I go through this presentation today, I'm going to be using both the live production site as well as our development site, because in the development site I'll be able to click buttons and manipulate data, where I don't want to do that in the live site because I'm not I'm not responsible for any of these accounts and I don't want to play with real data. But if when we're going through the presentation, if you see functionality that you believe you should have that you currently don't, you would have to reach out to either Heather or Simone to address that with them, and they can resolve that issue for you. But when you're registering for an account, you can choose which types of groups you might need access to, such as if you're responsible for managing the trust fund, you would select the trust fund monitoring group. Same thing with project or unit monitoring. If you're responsible for that, you would select that group as well. And you could choose more than one. And if you need full access, you would just, check off everyone in the list. And then you would list your occupation and title, your agency email address. You have to confirm your agency email address, and then the telephone number. That is the best way to get in touch with you. The verification code that's displayed in the box to the right. And then you just have two acknowledgments that you have to check off. And once you do that, the submit registration button will activate and you can go to the next step. Now, the next step in the process is you must have a My New Jersey account. So when you complete this part of the process, it'll direct you to the My New Jersey page, where it'll allow you to either link to an existing account or create a new My New Jersey account. And that is a security requirement by the New Jersey Office of Information Technology to access the system. So you have to link your affordable housing account with a My New Jersey account. You don't have to use your personal My New Jersey account if you don't want to. You can create a new one. However, just realize at that point you would have to manage more than one My New Jersey account. Once you complete that part of the process, your request for an account gets forwarded to Simone and Heather, where they will review it. And once you're approved, you are going to see this tile or this icon, this badge in your My New Jersey account for the Affordable Housing Monitoring System. And this is what allows you to actually access the system. So once you go through that registration and verification and confirmation process, and there's email notifications along the way that you'll get notifying you whether your account request was approved or not. But once you're fully approved, you're going to see this badge or tile in your My New Jersey account. And you can, when you're ready to log in and start managing the plans and projects for your municipality or municipalities, there's two ways you can access the system. You can either go directly to My New Jersey, log into your account and click on the tile, or you can always go back to this site and you can click on the municipal service account login here after you're approved, and that'll take you to the My New Jersey login page. And there's two ways to access it depending on what works best for you. So once you are able to access the application and you get that tile on your My New Jersey account and you log in, this is what you're going to see. I refer to this as the admin site. That's my terminology. But this is what all municipal users will see. This is the production site, the live site. This is the real data. So I will just touch on some of the functionality on the home page and your menus before switching over to the development site so we can actually, manipulate some data. So here on the home page, what you're seeing is, of course, this just lets you know that you're in the Affordable Housing Monitoring System site. To the right of that, where it's currently reading OIT test, this would display the name that's listed in your account. This is a test account in the live site that we have, so that's why it says OIT test. But if your name, if I was logged in as John Porter, it would display John Porter here. You can see that when you hover your cursor over that's like an active link. So if you click on that, a little profile menu drops down, and you can actually update the profile of your account. You can update, if you click this update button, you can update your email address if you need to, or your name. But you shouldn't need to do that too often, of course, but you have the ability to do that if necessary. Going back to the home page, the log out link, of course, that logs you out of the system. So you'll always have that available. And this top banner is displayed on every page. Here, this is, if there was more than one module available, there would be more than just affordable housing listed here. So, this is a module navigator, but this is the only part of the application you have access to. So there's no need to use that. But here on the left-hand side in this column here where it reads favorite, main, and search, this is what I refer to as the function tree. So these are the functions that are available to you in the application from the home page. Your favorites menu, this is what allows you to save your most commonly used functions in your favorite menu. So, at any time you return to the home page, anything listed in your favorites menu would cause that menu to open up by default. As we've been updating the application since its initial launch, there's been some functionality added, so over time, as time goes on and more requirements are added or more enhancements are applied, these menus might grow. And, right now it's not too difficult to navigate, 3 functions in the search menu. But if this was like an option of 10 or 20 search functions, and you commonly find yourself using, the unit search, if you wanted to save this to your favorites menu so it's always displayed whenever you go back to the home page, you can save this unit search as a favorite by just clicking on the star icon. And once that is highlighted in gold, that will add it to your favorites menu. So anytime you go back to the home page, like if I just go to my municipality's active plans and I go back to the home page, since I have a favorite there, now the favorites menu will always be open by default. So that's the purpose of the favorite menu. And if you, save it as a favorite in error, you can easily remove it from the favorites menu by just clicking on that star again, and it'll remove it. But you can see you have access to 3 menus here. First one's the favorites, which we just explained. Next is the main menu. These are the main functions available from the home page. So from here, you have the ability to add a project. You can conduct a municipality search. The municipality search only allows you to search the municipalities that you have access to. You cannot search any municipality in the system, only the ones. So if you're if you're the MHL or the trust fund monitor for Glassboro, and that's the only municipality you're registered for or have access to, the municipality search you don't have to search it because you'll be able to access that right through the inboxes. But if you work for one of the project firms and you're doing the monitoring for multiple municipalities, the municipality search might be helpful and will allow you to go, search for a specific municipality. From here, it would just open up, let's see, come on, she's run a little slow. It just opens up a search field where you would type in the municipality. Now, the test account that I'm logged in as is linked to Allendale, and that's it. So if I wanted to search Glassboro, there's going to be no search results because my account does not have access to Glassboro's records, so I can't find it. But if I wanted to search Allendale, it finds it. So, but again, this is helpful if you're assigned to multiple municipalities and you need to create a list or access it quickly. You can do it from the search menu. Going back to the main menu, so you can also search individual plans. Again, this is helpful if you have if you're assigned to multiple municipalities. The plan search might be helpful in getting locating and accessing that plan quicker. So from here, if you just click on that plan search function, it's going to open up our plan search in a second. Running a little slow. I apologize for that. Okay, be loaded. So, and here's your plan search. So you can search if your account is linked to multiple municipalities, all those municipalities will be listed in the municipality menu. But of course, my test account is only linked to Allendale, so that's my only option. You can search, which round that plan was listed in, or if it's even listed in multiple rounds, you can choose the round that you want to specifically search. You can search by the flags listed in the plan, whether the plan is current or not. This is simple yes, no, if it's been monitored, and what the current plan review status is. So just gives you a little variety of search parameters if you want to narrow down the search results, if you have a plethora of plans that you have access to. And then going back to the home page, then you have your project search. So again, just a search that's dedicated to locating a specific project or even a list of projects. And again, specifically helpful if you have access to multiple municipalities and you need to create a list of projects. And I'll show you a handy feature that's here. If I click on, I'm going to click on the project search, and as soon as these inboxes load, it's going to bring me to open up the search. There must be a lot of people logged into the system or something because this is running slower than usual. And again, I apologize for that, but let's okay, there we go. So in the project search, again, a variety of search parameters if you want to narrow down the search results. But if I just wanted to bring up all the, the current projects in Allendale, if I click go here, it's going to bring up the 15 projects that are currently assigned or listed in Allendale. And from here, you can access the project. You can see the project name is a hyperlink, and that'll bring you into the details of the project. And, we'll cover this in greater detail when we actually access Allendale and go through step by step the project and unit data. But you'll see, you'll notice throughout the application on any search results page, you're going to see these two icons, the Excel icon and the Adobe PDF icon. And what this means, by clicking either one of these functions, it allows you to export the data that is currently displayed on the page to either an Excel file or a PDF file. Now, PDF file is just going to be a static, text page. But if you export it to Excel, again, what it's going to do, it's going to export the data that's currently displayed on the page with all these columns and rows, and it'll export it to a Excel file for you. and just give this a minute to open. This is opening on my other screen. And so if I drag this over, again, this is creating an Excel file of just what is displayed on the screen. But if you wanted to do some advanced filtering, or create a report for your supervisor or yourself, you can just, again, export it to Excel, which is, as I'm sure everybody knows, a great tool, and use the advanced features available in Excel. So those, on most, if not all of the search results pages, that option is available. Just to let you know. Okay. And going back to the home page. And then for some additional searches, service list search, which is, the service list was part of the COA, the former COA application. So I'm not sure if you still need that or not, but this allows you to search the service list that was migrated from that system. So if you were a prior user of the COA system, all that data from COA was migrated to this newer application. So you didn't lose any data from the COA system and start from scratch. All that was migrated over. Then you've got a dedicated trust fund transaction search if you wanted to search any aspect of the municipality's trust fund. And then you have a unit search. So if you wanted to search for specific units within a project, you have a dedicated search for that as well. Over to the right, in this section that's labeled My Inbox Summary, we refer to these in the application as inboxes. So here you can see 3 separate inboxes. Some of you may be more familiar with the terminology of a work basket. It's the same type of concept where, it just allows, it's a quick access list of certain information that you can, instead of going through a search function, you can get it right through the inbox. So the first one, My Municipality's Active Plans. Any municipality that your account is linked to, if there's an active plan for that municipality, it'll be listed in this inbox. So you can, log in, go right to the inbox, and then, access the plan right from this inbox. So you don't have to search for, use one of the search functions to find it. Again, very helpful if you have, if you're part of a firm that monitors several municipal plans. You can go right to your inbox and all plans that you're assigned to will be listed there, and just create a list, and you can access each one individually, whatever you need. The next inbox, the inbox to the right of that, the My Municipality's Active Projects, this will list all active projects within the individual plans. So, again, just a quick access inbox to get to a specific project within a plan. If you need to, you can always use the project search if you want, but this will list all active projects within any of the municipal plans that you have access to, and you can access the project right from the inbox. And then this account registration inbox, this is for the municipal housing liaisons. This is going to be a future rollout, so you don't have to pay attention to this right now. We'll concentrate on the plans and the active projects. So from here, so we can just, review test data and click buttons. I'm going to switch over to our development site, and it's a mirror image of what you're seeing here. But once I do that, this is now our development site, and you're seeing a lot more inboxes because I'm logged in as a system administrator. And I want to be logged in as a system administrator so I'm not limited or restricted to any functionality that I would be if I was in a certain group, if I was using an account that was, a part of a specific user group. So I just want to be able to show you all the functionality that is within the system. So what we were seeing here in the live site with the My Municipality's Active Plans and the My Municipality's Active Projects inbox, they're here too. They're in this external section right here. But what you're also seeing is we're seeing the other inbox sections that are available to like Heather and Simone, for their duties and responsibilities of that they have to fulfill for their jobs. So, but let's get into it now. You can see in this site, My Municipality's Active Plans, there's 564 because it's in the administrator account, so it's linked to all municipalities in the state. So if I click into this inbox, all 564 municipalities are going to be listed. And as soon as this opens, and you can see it's default sorted by county. So if you're, again, a user that has access to multiple municipalities, this view is going to look a little more familiar to you, where you're going to see multiple municipalities in your inbox. So from here, you can see it gives you the county that municipality is located in, the name of the municipality name is the hyperlink into the plan. So if you wanted to access that plan for more details, you just click on the link. It'll list the current plan version. The current round is round 4, and there's a variety of statuses, as I'm sure you're all aware. It'll list the current status of that. Because we're in the development site, these municipalities were not getting the live data from what you guys are updating on a daily basis. So that's why a majority of these are reading pending, because they just haven't been updated. And then you have the current column to list whether or not the municipal plan is current or not, and whether or not it's monitored. And these are simply going to reflect yes or no. So I've been using Allendale in Bergen County as, for all my testing. That's why you can see that this has a little bit of an additional status other than, different from these other municipalities. So I'm going to click into Allendale. And once I click on the Allendale Borough hyperlink, that is going to open up the municipal plan. And we're going to land on the plan summary page. So from here, on every page, again, here's that blue header that's going to be static on every page. It's going to tell you what page you're on in the application. We're on the plan summary page. There's going to be a municipality link. This hyperlink in the municipality field, this brings you to the information page for the overall municipality. So you have a municipality information tab. This is, just the basic information where the the headquarters for the municipality, their contact information, what housing region they're part of. Then you have the individual contacts for the municipality. So if your account access gives you the ability to add or update contacts, you'll see that these are hyperlinked, and you can click on the hyperlink to update them, or if you can add new ones, you'll see the add button down here, so you can, update or add new contacts for the municipality. And then here's that service list that was imported from the COA system. Again, I don't think there's a requirement to update this, but we didn't want to lose any data. But the service list information is still here from the old system. And then if you wanted to return back to the plan, anytime you're on a specific page within the plan, you're going to have this plan version hyperlink. And by clicking on this plan version hyperlink, it's just going to return you back to the plan summary tab. So that's an easy way. Instead of having to use the back button, you can just click on that link, and it's going to bring you right back to the plan summary page, which we'll see in a second as soon as this loads. This is our development site. It's on a different server, so it's going to run, it runs a little slower than, there you go. So now we're back on the plan summary page. So from here, you have your plan header. This is just list the county and municipality for the plan we're in. Then you have the plan detail section. You can see that, some of you may or may not have the update button. And again, that's based on your account access. So if you don't see the update button, it just means that you don't have the permissions to, update this plan detail information. But one of the updates that was applied to the site since our last training session, which was back in January, I believe, are these 3 fields here: the round 4 present need, the round 4 prospective need, and the prior round obligation. That used to be on the fair share obligation tab. That was consolidated over to the plan detail section. So where you previously accessed and updated that information on the fair share obligation tab or page, it's now been moved to the plan detail section. So that's one of those updates that has been done since our last training session. But you see the variety of information in the plan detail section. If any of this needs to be updated and you have access to this update button, you just click that update button and it'll allow you to update any of those fields accordingly. Throughout the application, you may see fields that are marked with this red REQ. REQ stands for required. So at a minimum, in order to save that record, like we're on the plan detail page, you have to have data in all the required fields in order to save the record. So if this was blank and these fields are required, it would not allow me to save the record because those are required fields. So the system will prompt you to fill in the missing data if you want to save the record. Otherwise, if you don't have it, you have to do additional research. You can just close the window to get out of there. In addition to that, below that, you have the plan submission history section. So anytime you submit or certify a plan, it'll add to this, it'll update this section. So it keeps a running history of any updates that are applied up here in the plan detail section. And, so you can always keep track of when the last time it was updated. Below that is your planning region section. And then you have the confirmation history section at the bottom of the page. Now, you're seeing a lot of data here because this is the account we commonly use for any sort of research and development. So a lot of this is just, random test data. Your confirmation history sections aren't going to look like this. But anytime that each year when you confirm your project list and your trust fund, that's going to add a confirmation history record to this section. So you'll always be able to tell the date, time, and user that either confirmed the trust fund data or the project data. That'll always be added here. So not only you have access to know who did that, but also Heather and Simone and Keith, they can see everything you enter. And this is important to just, to keep track of who's updating these for the individual municipalities. If for any reason you confirmed a trust fund or a project list earlier than you should have, it can be undone by Heather or Simone. They have this reopen function that you do not have. This is strictly a permission that they have. But if you either, maybe you confirmed it too early, you didn't realize there was some additional information that needs to be added, you can contact them and they can reopen that confirmation process for you. So you can add that information that, should be included for that project year or that project year. So, but the confirmation history, this is, good reference point. So from here, you can go into your plan counts. There's this button that'll bring you to the plan, open up the plan counts page for you if you wanted to access it from here. But there's another point of access as we go through the application, but that's what the plan counts page does for you, or plan counts button does for you. So the next tab, that we refer to these as tabs. Some people call them pages. But the way that the concept of the application is, it works like a filing cabinet. And when you have individual file folders and you label the tabs on the file folders, that's the general idea here. So when I say the next tab in the application or in this particular municipal plan is the project tab. And when we click on that, that will open up the list of all the projects that are listed for or included for Allendale Borough. Just give this a second to load. So from here, we can see at the top of the page, it gives you a complete count of all the projects. There's 23 records on the project tab, which means there's 23 projects listed here. So in the first column, the project name column, these are the individual project names. This is a hyperlink. So if you needed to, take a deeper dive or update any of the information in that specific project, you would click on the project name hyperlink, and we'll do that in a second, but I just wanted to go over what else is included in this page. The next column lists the project type here. Then the column to the right of that is the project subtype. Then you have a project status tab. You have a units column, which is a count of or a total count of the units that are included in that project. So if you click, and you can see that the units number is a hyperlink as well. If you click on that, that's going to bring you right to the units tab in that project. If you wanted to, again, just saves you a click instead of clicking on the project name and then navigating to the units tab. You can go right to the units tab or page by clicking on the units hyperlink. And then you have a remove from plan hyperlink. So what this does is if, you can't, once you have a project and a plan, you can't delete it. But you can remove it from the plan. So if this is an older project that doesn't need to be included in the current reporting for the current year, you can remove it from the plan, but it's not going to remove it from the application. So you can see, I'll just take this top one for instance, this 22 West Crescent Avenue project. If I didn't want this included in any of my counts for the current reporting year, I would just click the remove from plan hyperlink, and it's going to ask me to confirm, do I want to remove it from the plan? It defaults to no, just in case you click the hyperlink by accident. But if you want to actually remove this from the plan, you just click yes. You're going to end it. There's always, anytime you're on a page or you're in one of these pop-up windows, many of them have this tip section. And what we try to do throughout the application is explain what the functionality is on that particular page or in that particular pop-up window by, explaining the functionality. So if you're ever on a page or you're in a pop-up window, you're not sure where you're at, what it does, look at the bottom of the page or the window for the tip section. And a lot of times that might clarify what functionality you're currently in. So, here it explains to remove a project from the list, update the remove from plan setting, which is here, to yes. To restore a removed project, update the remove from plan setting to no. So if I wanted to remove this again from the plan, I just change it to yes. I'm going to confirm, yeah, I want to remove that. Page is going to refresh. Second, two. So once that saves the information, page is refreshed, and now it is listed as removed. So it doesn't remove it from the plan. It's still a record because it was a project that was worked on at some point in time. So you don't want to delete the record. You want to preserve it. But if it no longer needs to be included in any of the counts or reporting, you can simply remove it. If you find that, I removed the wrong plan, easily restorable, you just click on the removed hyperlink, change yes to no, and it's going to restore it back. So, you really can't mess that up. So if you make a mistake, easily fixable, you can just just 2 clicks and you can restore it. So that's what's displayed on the project page. Now from here, we can go into the individual project. I'll just choose this top one. So we're in the 2020 West Crescent Avenue project. So I land on the project summary tab as displayed here. I got the project header section, which displays the project name, project type, the proposed unit count, and the completed units. If I needed to update any of the information here, again, just click that update button. Now it only gives you the ability to update the project type or the proposed unit count. The completed units, that populates automatically from the units page. And the project name, that's updatable somewhere else, which I'll show you in a second. Then you have your project detail section. So, of course, additional details about the project. Again, anything that you need to update here, click that update button if you have access to it. You have several required fields here, but in addition to the tip section that's at the bottom of the windows or the page you're on, there's also what I refer to as like help content in some of the fields throughout the application. And I'm sure as time goes on, you'll see more and more of this. But any field that has this question mark icon, if you hover your cursor over it, it's going to give you additional information about that particular data field. Here we can see that this reads new construction equates to prospective need and rehab equates to present need. As we're going, Heather, Simone, Keith, me and Anthony, we meet on a regular basis. And what they do is, any issues they find, any issues that are reported to them, the feedback that you provide to them, they discuss with us. And, when we can, we try and, respond to feedback as much as we can. We want to make the application as user friendly and intuitive as we can. So as these issues are identified, again, Keith, Heather, Simone bring those to our attention, and where we can, we try and update the system. And this is one of those little things where if we wanted to provide additional information to the end user, this information might be helpful. So wherever you see those, just hover your mouse over it or hover your cursor over it, and it'll provide some additional information about, what that data field's referring to, how to complete that data field, things of that nature. There's a new one here, the number CO grant. This is a more recent update that was not in the application since our last training. So here we have a help bubble here, and if we hover over that, that explains how the value in this field is calculated. And in case this is too small for you to read on your side, I'll just read it for you real quick. This explains that the number of certificates of occupancy granted for a project is automatically calculated based on the number of records on the Units tab within the project that have the date entered in the date CO issued field. And I'll go over that in greater detail when we move over to the Units page. But again, this is an important field. This was just added, I think, in the past month or two, but just added some additional help content here to help explain to you how that number is calculated, because this is calculated automatically. It does not, you cannot update it from here. If we click on the update tab, that number of COs granted field is not available on this page because it automatically calculates from the unit record. Okay, next, below that is the administrative agent section. So you can list an individual administrative agents for each project. So you cannot update that here. Where you add the administrative agent from is on the contacts tab or the contact page within the project. So if your project currently lists no administrative agent, the way to add that is you just go to the contact tab within the project and you click add. Now the contact type, if the contact type is administrative agent, it's automatically going to list that individual in the administrative agent section on the project summary tab. Now you can see you can add a variety of other types of contacts here, but only the contacts that are listed, only the contact type, excuse me, of administrative agent is going to be displayed in that administrative agent on the project summary tab. So that's where that information pulls from. So again, if your administrative agent section in any of your projects is blank or empty, this is the way to update it. Just go over to the contacts tab, add your administrative agent contact type, and it'll automatically add that information for you. And you can use that to list any other contacts that are specific to that project as well. That's what this contacts tab is for. Go back to the project summary page now. Okay, so that's our administrative agent section. Block and lot, any block and lot numbers, again, we use this account for our testing and development. So your block and lots may or may not look like this, but any block and lot specific to the project can be added in this section here. Low-income housing tax credits. You can update this section by clicking the add button. Project status, if you need to update the project status, you just click the add button and it'll keep a record in this section of all the updates for that particular project. So if I click on this, I'm seeing the delete button because I'm logged in as the administrative user, but not everybody is going to be able to delete the project status. You'll be able to add a new status. But again, you add a new status, it's going to keep that history, and it's going to list your most current one. So if this project status, let's say, enter today's date, and let's just say it's been updated to final approval. And I'm going to list this, yes, this is the current status. So I click save. So here's the record I just entered, December 5th, 2025. And I updated the status to final approval. And because I listed the status as current, it automatically updated the prior record for the status to no. So this, again, keeps that history. So you always, have reference to it if needed. And then the project name history section, this is where you can change the name of the project if needed. So again, where the project name is displayed up here, and when we click that update button, you can't change the project name. If you need to update the project name for any reason, you do that down here in the project name history section. So if I wanted to, it doesn't allow you, it allows you to update the name, but to update the current name, but it'll keep a history of the prior names as well. So you have that in case you ever have to reference it, because the reason why this was updated was because there was some confusion over a project name, and come to find out the project name was updated, but there was no reference to the original name of the project. So that's why this section was added. So you can always, in case there's, ever confusion, or, someone's referring to the original project name, it's always in the system. So if I needed to change this for any reason, I could just click add, and let's just say I'm going to just name this 220 West Crescent Avenue, 2. Spelled that wrong. So if I click save, it's going to refresh in a second. There we go. So project name history. Here's the new project name I just added, this 220 West Crescent Avenue 2. Now it kept here was the original name, and this is the only other record because this is the original name of the project. I just updated it. But when I go back to the top of the page, the new project name is displayed here because it's the current project name. And it's reflected up here too in the header as that new project name. But again, it'll keep a historical record of any prior project names just in case you need it. So that's where you can add that information. Next tab in the project is the units tab. This is where all your unit information is listed. Again, all the data from the prior COA system was migrated over here. So if you had any existing unit data, that was migrated over. However, if you need to update or add any new unit data, it's done on the units tab. So if you need to update an existing unit, you can see that the unit ID number is a hyperlink. You simply click on that hyperlink and you can update, that information. And then just click save. You can see that there's a variety of required fields. Going back, just making reference to the project summary tab that we were on before, and that number of COs granted field. If, in case you didn't remember what that little help text explained, that's where that data calculates from, is this field right here, date CO issued. So once this date CO issued is completed, it's going to automatically update that field on the project summary tab for the number of COs issued. So I'm just going to put today's date and I'll update this record. So we'll see where it was originally, I believe the existing number is 1. Now it's going to reflect 2 because I'm completing the date CO issued for this individual unit, and it's going to update that field automatically. Another recent update that was just applied earlier this week is this field right here. It was just a simple caption change. It previously displayed as affordability percentage. It was simply updated to original price affordability percentage, just clarifying exactly what's here. I'm just going to put a 1 here just to satisfy the requirement. Effective date of affordability, since it's required, I just want to fill this in so I can save the record. And then length of affordable control years, I'm just going to put a 1 there. And so we have everything filled in. And we can just click save. Let this fresh. So again, I just updated that record. If I go back to the project summary page, now the number of COs issued should reflect 2, because I updated I completed the date CO issued field for that particular unit. And as soon as this returns to the project summary page, we'll see that. And yes, it's been updated to 2 automatically. So that's where that number comes from. And the system will calculate that for you automatically, so you don't have to worry about updating it manually. All right, so now if you need to add a new unit, you simply click the add button, and you can add individual units here. Just be cognizant of the unit type. Depending on whether you select new construction or rehabilitation here, it activates a separate section for each one. So if I choose, you can see currently there's 3 sections here: unit detail, block and lot, and all units. If I choose new construction, that activates the new construction units field, so you can fill in the required information for new construction units. If I select rehabilitation, it's going to activate the rehabilitation unit section, so you can complete the information that are specific to, rehab units. So just be aware that the page is going to change depending on what you choose here. I'm aware, just in my interaction and just working with Heather, Simone, and Keith for so long now, was made aware that, not every project is just 2 or 3 units. There can be projects with, many, many more units. So what was developed for the application is a batch add function, and that's this button here. Now, you won't see this now. This hasn't been rolled out to everybody yet, but what this function allows to be done is you can complete an Excel spreadsheet of all the unit information. So if you have, just for example, let's just say there's 100 units within a project, and you have to add them all as new units. If this page is, or even if there's a 100 additional units to the current 3 that are listed here, you can complete an Excel spreadsheet with all the unit information, and it can be uploaded to the application, and it will, add all that information for you, because, Heather and Simone and Keith explained that a lot of your work is done through Excel. So we added that functionality here. So if you click batch add, there's a template that you can't fill out your own spreadsheet. There's a specific template that was created for this function. So to get that template, you would have to talk to Heather, Simone, or Keith. And this is going to open on my other screen. And here it is. So the template is specific to the categories that are, that are needed for the unit information. So this has to be filled out accurately, and then once it's filled out, can be uploaded to the application through this upload new unit data field. So once that spreadsheet's completed, you would deliver that to, you would work with Heather or Simone to get that uploaded, and it'll save you some time in, adding 20, 30, 50, 100 units to a project. So that ability does currently exist in the application. If you are interested in doing that, just reach out for Heather or Simone, and they will assist you with that. Heather, before I move away from this, is there anything you wanted to mention, since this is such a, a significant enhancement?
Yeah, because it's so, once it's in there, right? So we want to make sure that the data that's in that template is correct. I will work with you closely to make sure that once you do it, it's right, and it's not gonna, be something that you have to go back to 100 units and fix, right? So that's why we're monitoring it carefully, and making sure that it's not widely available just for that reason. But yeah, please, and we already got a question about it. Please do contact us to get that capability, and we'll work with you to get that done.
Thank you, Heather.
Yeah, thanks.
And as you can see on this units page, big tip here at the bottom, because it's so important, is the date CO issued field must be completed in union records classified as new construction. So please be cognizant of that information there. So that's the unit page. Next is the project counts. So going over to the projects count page, a lot of this is automatically calculated or tabulated from what's entered in the unit information from the units tab. It'll update this automatically. If you wanted to see, you can see each one is a hyperlink. If your account allows you to update this information manually, you can do that here and save it. But a lot of this will be tabulated automatically from the unit information. But if any of them need to be updated manually, just click on that hyperlink and you can update them manually as needed. And if you wanted to see a project count summary, you simply click this project count summary button and it'll open up this pop-up window and you can just see a summary of the data fields that have a value listed. Because you see, even though the value is 0, it still brings this up. But so you don't have to comb through the page where there might be no information. This will just give you the fields that list some sort of value. That's what the summary does for you. Just a quick reference sort of thing. We touched on the contacts tab already. So once you're done here, if you want to go back to the project list, you just click on the return to project list tab and it'll bring you right back to that project summary or the project list tab. So this isn't a page, this is more like a function to return you to the project list. And now we're back. So that's the projects and units information for the municipal plan. You can see here, because we're in the municipal plan, there's a separate contact tab for the municipal plan. You can list individual contacts that are specific to the plan. Here's a plan contact list section and a trust fund contact list section. So again, if your account allows you to either update or add new contacts, you'll see the add button and the contact name will be hyperlinked for you so you can update that information accordingly. Then next, another big function within the application is the trust fund. So from here is where you record all your trust fund data. Of course, here's your trust fund bank information. Again, depending on your permissions for your account, you may be able to update or add a new bank. Next is your trust fund detail section. So variety of information in your trust fund detail. Again, you can update that information by clicking the update button. The residential information section, you can see there's an upload document section here. So I believe in order to update the residential information section, that is actually listed those are included here. They're updated from this update button. Here's your residential information section if you needed to update any of that. But the upload document function is to upload the copy of your development fee ordinance. So if you need to upload your development fee ordinance, you simply click the choose file button, and this is going to open up the file explorer on your for your computer, and you would just find where that document is, either on the file itself, or if you're on a network drive, you just navigate through the network and find the document you need. Once you find that, you simply click save, and this is going to save that document to a folder up here on the documents tab that we'll go over in a second. But that's how you upload your development fee ordinances, through that upload document button in the residential information section. And again, That's anywhere. There's other places where we'll see that you can upload a document. It's going to explain what document is specific to be uploaded there in the tips section. So then you have your trust fund transaction section. So this is going to, this allows you to add a transaction. You can also conduct a trust fund transaction search or generate a summary by date. So if you need to add a new trust fund transaction, easy enough, click the add button. The municipality field, you can see it's grayed out. That's because it defaults to the current plan you're in. You can't change that from here. From here, you choose the category. Depending what category you're in, it's going to dictate what the type, what's listed in the type menu. So if I click, administrative costs, it's going to bring up the types that are specific to the administrative cost category. And the same thing with affordability, since you see that this type menu will update accordingly, specific with those subtypes for the category that's listed here. And then you simply, fill in at a minimum the required information, and you could add a trust fund transaction. And accordingly, that will update, either the income or the expenditure section, depending on what type of transaction it is. If you wanted to bring up a list of the transactions for any of these categories, you simply click open, and it's going to list the various transactions specific to that income or expenditure category. And you can see that you have the export to Excel function here. So if you needed to, export this information for a report or some other reference, you can export these this account information from these windows. Then there's the trust fund transaction search. So, remember, the trust fund transaction search is also available in those search menus on the homepage. But so you don't have to go back to the homepage to do that, there's a shortcut to that search right here. So you can do, if you need to do a search for, because, over time, of course, I'm sure you know better than me that, these transaction records can be quite lengthy. If you need to search for something specific, you can do that right from here. That shortcut's provided for you. And then this trust fund summary by date, what this allows you, if you wanted to take a snapshot of what the transaction history was for a date range, you do that here. You choose the trust fund summary by date, you enter your, whatever maybe you want to run, you wanted to see what the trust fund activity was for the first quarter of 2025. So we would do 01/01/2025 to March 31st, 2025. Wait, I always get that mixed up whether there's, okay, good, I got that right. So you put in the date range, and you can put, it doesn't have to be a quarter, it can be for, you want to do 2 years for the, 2023 and 2024, you can do that. And it's going to provide you the trust fund activity for that specified time period. And that's what we'll display here for you. So that's what that function does. So going back to our trust fund page, that is all I believe that's all the functionality there. Yes. One thing I missed on the project tab that is also on the trust fund tab is when it comes time to confirm your project list or your trust fund data. So when that time of the year comes up and you're, everything's updated and you're ready to confirm it, you just click the confirm trust fund button. From here, you have to certify, you have to check this checkbox to certify that to the best of your ability, the trust fund information entered into AHMS is accurate as of December 31st, 2024. This date will automatically update. Now, the reason why it's reading 2024, this is older data. This date will automatically update in the live site to the current year, because I believe I didn't confirm the prior year. That's why it's still reading 2024. But for you on your end, it'll list December 31st, 2025. Along with this certification, there's a upload document button here. It's because you have to upload a copy of the December bank statement, and you can see that that's a requirement. So you do have to attach that. So again, to select to find that December bank statement and upload it, you just open up, click that button. It's going to open up your file explorer. We are going to find that and open it, add it. There's a note field here. If you wanted to either make a note for yourself or for Heather or Simone, you can add that here. Not required, of course, but you can add a note about the confirmation of trust fund data, and you just click save. You can see this confirmation message comes up when confirming trust fund data. The balance in account until last year will sync to the balance remaining of the spending plan, with original balance being, and these are all figures. Again, these are balance figures that are reflected here. Again, this is the account we use for testing, so don't pay attention to it here, but it's, of course, it's important that it's accurate in your for your municipal plans. But I don't want to confirm this at the moment, but that's how you confirm your trust fund data when that time comes. So I will confirm. So once you confirm it, that document, your December bank statement, is going to be saved to a folder on the Documents tab automatically. And then since you confirmed it, your Confirm Trust Fund Data button will be deactivated. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, if maybe you have an updated bank statement, maybe it was updated, you got the old one and it's being updated today, and you realize, oh, I confirmed it too soon. This can be reversed by Heather or Simone. Just have to reach out for them, and they'll get this button reactivated for you, so you can correct that or reconfirm it. But you have to reach out to them to do that. Same thing with the project data. When the time comes to confirm your project data, we'll just return to the project tab. My apologies for overlooking this when we originally did this, when we originally reviewed the project tab. Here's where you confirm your project data through the Confirm Project Data button. Again, from here, no document required, but you do have to certify that to the best of your ability, the project information entered in AHMS is accurate as of December 31st. And this is going to I believe you're required to do this. There's the deadlines in February of 2026. This will reflect 2025 for you. And then you have the note section here as well. But Heather or Simone can reverse this process as well. If you did it too early or made a mistake when you did it, just reach out for them. All right, going back to the trust fund plan. It's okay. Our trust fund data is confirmed. So the next page is our spending plan. And our spending plan, you can see there's a variety of sections here. You have just your basic spending plan information. Again, you have an update button to update the information here as to the most recent approved spending plan date and the balance remaining. The upload button here is to upload a copy of the approved spending plan. So that's what document is required to upload here. So whenever you have to update the approved spending plan date, you are required to upload that document as well. And that will save to the Documents tab too automatically. Then you have your income section. So to update any part of the income section, you simply click the update button, and it'll allow you to update those individual income categories by year. So you can see each year has its own column, so you can update those accordingly here for each year as needed. Same thing with your expense category. So in your expenses, of course, document the expenses for the project. So you have the ability to, if you realize projects not listed here, we give you the add project button. You can always add it. I'm sure most of you will add it from the project page, but you can add a project here if you realize that, if it's easier, if you want to do it here, you do have the add project button. But from here, you can also update to projections. You can update other activities. Your other activities section is here. Update housing activity. Your housing activity section is here, but all the functionality to update those sections, we put the buttons in one row for you here. You'll update affordability and VLI assistance are down here. But again, just any of these, you need to update any of those projections. You can do it right from these update buttons, and it will update those for you. And update the admin costs. Here's your administrative cost section down here. And then depending, what all the data that's entered above, these categories down here for total housing activity expenses, projected expenses, expenses to date, total income to date will update automatically based on, the information that's entered above. And then your spending plan submission history up here, anytime that's updated, that will add a record to the spending plan submission history down here, just to keep a record of, when was the last time and who was the person that updated that information. So there will be a historical section down here in case you ever need to reference that. Okay, that's automatically added when you update this section up here. Documents tab. So the Documents tab is basically an electronic filing cabinet, digital filing cabinet for any documents that are uploaded to the plan. So you can see that there's various folders here. There's an administrative agent folder, a bank statements folder, a development fee ordinance folder, escrow agreement, MHL, that municipal housing liaison, project unit folder, spending plan, and trust fund. Those places where we previously reviewed where they had a document upload function, such as the development fee ordinance and the bank statements, those are when you upload those documents to the plan, they're automatically saved to these folders. So if you wanted to see, you can see that number next to the bank statements folder is 22. That means there's 22 documents in this folder. So if you wanted to see what's in there, you can simply click on the bank statements folder to show the list of documents that's in there. And as soon as this opens, here's all the documents that have been uploaded to the bank statements folder. Now, it's going to show you the posted date was the date it was actually added to the folder. So if I go, where's the one we just did today? Here's the one we just did today. That I just did a few minutes ago when I confirmed my trust fund and uploaded the bank statement. Here it is right here. Now you can see each document is a hyperlink. If you click on that hyperlink, it's going to download the document to your computer. However, maybe, you necessarily don't want to download it to see it. If you just wanted to see what was in each folder without having to download the document, there's this view document function. And if you click on this view document function, it opens up this separate window, and it's going to show the list of folders. And it's going to display the folders that actually have documents saved to them. So here you can see in the administrative agent folder, there's no documents listed. It's empty. So it's not going to list the folder in the document viewer because there's nothing to view. But here in the bank statements folder, if I wanted to see that one that I just uploaded today, which was this one, I could click on it here and I could view that document just to see what it is. From here, there's also some additional functionality where, again, this is if your account allows these permissions. Not everybody's going to be able to do this, but you can rename the document. If you wanted to provide a more accurate description of what the document is, you can change the title of that. If you wanted to move the document to a different folder, that's what the move function is for. If you wanted to print it, and in order to print this or use any of these functions, you have to check off the document or documents that you want to move, print. You have to click the checkbox, but you can print it, and you can also download it in the computer from here as well. And then there's a delete function. I believe the delete function is very restricted right now. Somebody doesn't delete an important document by mistake, so not everyone's going to have the delete function. But the document viewer is nice. You just want to take a quick glance at the document without having to download it to computer. That's what the document viewer is great for. You can also, and you're not limited to just, uploading the the development fee ordinance and your December bank statement. You can use these for any other documentation you want to upload to the plan. And to do that, you simply use either the batch upload or the upload function. I would recommend if you just, you can use either function to upload a document. The upload function uploads one document at a time. So if you just need to do a quick and dirty upload of a single document, using the upload function is fine. But let's say you have to upload 20 documents and they're all going to separate folders. Use the batch upload. The batch upload will allow you to select multiple documents from your hard drive or network. And I'll just choose a couple here. So here I chose 4. If these are all the documents you want to upload to your plan, after you add them to the list, you simply click upload. All have been uploaded. So from here, it's going to open up to a new page. Now you can select what folders you want to add them to. So if these are all going to different folders, we would upload, okay, this one's going to the administrative agent folder. This one's going to the MHL folder. This one I want to save to the escrow agreement. And this one I want to save to the trust fund. You can do that. That's makes your life a little easier. If all these documents are going in the same folder, you can also just select all and choose the folder down here, and they'll all save to whatever folder you select here. But if I just wanted to save those to individual folders, I would just do that, and I would click save. And you see now I've uploaded them to the individual folder. So you're not restricted to just the required documents. You can upload additional documents if necessary directly on the Documents tab. And the Fair Share Obligation tab, you're not going to see this in your access. Because it's been consolidated to the Plan Summary tab, you will not see this tab. This is strictly for historical purposes for Keith, Heather, and Simone. You will not see this, so there's no need to go over that. Okay. That is, again, A to Z, homepage functionality, inboxes, individual tabs, confirmation processes for projects and trust funds. Heather, I believe I hit it all, but if I missed anything, please let me know. Be happy to review anything else again or anything I may have missed. So I'll turn it back over to you, Heather.
Great. Thanks, John. That was great. I know we gave people a lot. And we had some really good questions in the chat as well. If you have other questions, please let us know. One of the questions that we did get was whether we could go over why we do this, why we do monitoring, and what it leads to, perhaps. So monitoring is required by the Fair Housing Act. That is, the act actually says that you have to do this. And we are responsible for collecting that information. Local Planning Services at DCA is the entity that collects that information. The reason for it is that it keeps ostensibly to let the legislature know how things are going, but also to let the town know, this is your this is your information. We want this to be a useful tool for you as you go through the rounds, as you develop housing, just to keep a good accounting of it. I mean, we know that this takes a lot for a town to develop, and it is important to track it, to monitor it, to make sure that you know the information about it. This is a single space where all that information can be stored. So, as a prior AA, needing to have all of this information in one place, I know how important it is for a town to be able to look here and get, dates of deed restrictions and addresses and information on units, low mod, what the percentage was that it started out with. So, John, can I share my screen. I want to show you now where that information goes. Once we have it, we've developed the affordable housing dashboard. And this is where all that information is put out to the public. We have to do that on our internet website. And so it's on our website. Every town is in here. All of your developments are in here. We've tried to make it user friendly and if we go to Edison and we look here, I mean, it tells you what units you have by structure, by bedroom. It gives you a good overview of what that town has done. We also track trust funds. So, South Brunswick, wow, okay. Uh, you guys have a lot of money. So all of this is public though, and it has to be based on the law says that we have to make it public. So you want this to be accurate. It's out there. So people know how much you have in your trust fund. It's important for this to be up to date and accurate because you don't want someone, coming to a meeting and questioning this. So we are responsible and required to produce this. And so from that perspective, as the town, you want this information that's out in the public to be accurate. So overall, broadly, that is why we are collecting and displaying this information. I can try and hopefully that answered that question. Maybe I can take some other questions as well. Anybody want to raise their hand, and we have just a few more minutes, but I can certainly try and get an answer in. Yes, Mary, let me see if I can unmute you. Go ahead, Mary. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, okay. I don't know how to do that, but Mary, if you want to put your question in the chat, go ahead. The link for the dashboard is on our website. Get to it. Oh. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. It's on our website, Fair Housing Act Administration. This is the DCA website. Local Planning Services is our division. And it's here, the dashboard is the 2025 municipal reporting. And this is information about it. And then the dashboard is here. Hopefully that answered that question. Okay. Well, I guess we're just about at time and I don't know how to unmute. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can try it. Oh. All right. Let's see. Is there a way to mark funds as committed in AHMS, even though they haven't been spent? Interesting question. Let me look at that. I don't think so, because if they're still in your trust fund, then they're going to show up, right? If you're worried about that 4-year issue with expending funds, if that ever became an issue, before we did anything, we would ask you about whether they are committed. So, I wouldn't worry about that in your trust fund because that needs to accurately reflect the dollars that are in your account at any one time. But as far as committed to expend funds, we would, before we took any money for that 4-year requirement, we would reach out to you about whether the funds are committed or not. So don't worry about that with your trust fund. That's just what we want in the trust fund is accurate. Yeah, I committed them in the developer's agreement, so it's hard to keep track of the balance versus the bank statements. Yeah, again, but what we're looking at is what the balance is in your trust fund. So that's something that you're going to have to, I guess, track on your own because we need to make sure that we're comparing to the bank statement. Joe, the 4 years starting on the trust fund, that's interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. I think because this has not been continuous and since inception, it's going to be difficult to do that. We're certainly going to start from now, tracking your 4 years. I think anything before that, like I said, is going to be difficult. And especially since we were out of it for a number of years and weren't monitoring and checking things. But we will certainly have more information about that as we get to it. We're just starting out. So as I always say, we are building this plane as we fly it. So give us a little time to get answers to a lot of these questions. So that comes to the end of our webinar today. Oh, and thank
There
you.
was one question from Sarah Carbone. She wanted to know if when you do a batch upload, is it going to overwrite the existing unit information or will it duplicate it? So
That may be a John question.
It will duplicate it.
It will duplicate it. Yeah. So,
Yes.
but you can add to it. So
Yes.
if you were to take the ones that you haven't put in and just upload those, you could do that. And training. So training for MHLs and administrative agents, we have we're working with Rutgers. The rules aren't even adopted yet, but we are doing things as we're able to with regard to UHAC and the updates there. And the updates there are somewhat extensive. So we have to have a little bit of grace to make sure that we, get all of those changes into the education program. As you might have noticed, we canceled some classes because especially, with income qualification, that has completely changed. It's now based on HUD as opposed to what we used to do, which was a UHAC specific kind of income certification. So we're working on it. I wish that we could get it done tomorrow, but we're going to get it done as soon as we can. And that's why it's important to have your MHLs in the system, because we'll be able to communicate with you directly when we do have updates on the training program. So that will start in earnest in the new year, as soon as UHAC comes out. And we know exactly what it says. We didn't want to make education based on something that was going to be changing. So now we can start in earnest and get that done. So bear with us. Thank you for your attention today. We appreciate it. We may have try to have some more webinars before that February 15th deadline. And Simone and I are here to take your questions at alms@dca.nj.gov, or reach out to us on the phone, whatever is easier. Okay. Thanks so much. Appreciate your attention, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.